Hi folks, let's have a little chat about why you'd want to start your own home t-shirt printing business. See you in a minute. Right, well, this little video might give you a little prompt as to why you'd want to start your own little home business, as I did many years ago. Well, I was working full-time as an electrician, and I had done since the age of 16. I spent so much time at work, and I thought to myself, this isn't life. Life passing you by, basically. You know, I had a family and that, and I thought to myself, I want to work from home. There's so many people out there who I've seen, who I was following, because I was involved in sort of trying to break free from the rat race by looking at internet marketing, which basically is a scam, really, because the internet marketers, or the top internet marketers who are so-called training you, are basically just teaching you basic internet marketing skills, how to use a computer to get to more people. They're not actually telling you how to become rich, although so many of them promise to hold your hand and become your guru, so to speak. I spend thousands and thousands of pounds following these people, all promising wealth by showing me their insider tips and tricks. But the things they do to generate big business is far different than what you are as a beginner. They're big entities then, and they basically sell high-priced products to people in a hungry market, which is the internet marketing niche. So it took me a while to suss that one out, and bottom line was that I thought to myself, there's still a way to make genuine money out there, or decent money, starting off by working from home and building up one day at a time, or one step at a time, so to speak. A lot of people, they say, a lot of these internet marketers say, you should go into hungry niches. Well, that's all well and good, but as a beginner going into a hungry niche, you're going to do no good at all, because you've got no standing in that niche. You've got to become a so-called expert, or a perceived expert in that niche. So, and also, you might as well go into something that you're good at, or you have an interest in, and if you don't have any skills, something that's going to be learnable. So I had a little thing. I've been a sort of jack of all trades all my life, and I thought to myself, well, there's got to be a way to learn how to do a set thing to take advantage of different niches. And I thought for a bit, and the first piece of kit that I invested in was the mug press. And like probably what you've done, I went online and I've done some searching in forums and stuff, trying to find out the best equipment and the right equipment as a beginner. And all I was coming up against when I was going to forums was people basically poo-hooing you and belittling you, and also arguing amongst themselves which piece of equipment or what type of gear was the best to use, because everybody does things in a slightly different way. And a lot of people, what you do find, which you don't really realise until you've got some experience under your belt, is that a lot of people in forums, they quote stuff that they've not had through experience, but what other people are saying. So it's sort of a Chinese whispers sort of thing. You know, they sort of follow along with what the masses say in the group, just to be accepted, so to speak. So there's a lot that goes on in forums, and also a lot of people withhold key information because they really don't want you to go and do what they're doing, so to speak. So going in forums, there's a massive information in forums. If you asked any technical advice in forums, if you've got a problem, all these experts in these forums are very good for that. But as far as giving you advice on how to get started, and the best way and the best equipment to get started, that just opens up a whole can of worms of people arguing, basically. So I went down that road. I tried many different ways in, and I come across all different answers, and in the end of the day, I had to take pot luck in the equipment I bought and the inks I bought, and I got lucky with the mug press first of all. But this was going back to a time, don't forget, this was 11 years ago. There was either very, very expensive ones out on the market, or there was the Far Eastern import ones, the Chinese copy ones, or whatever you call them. But at that time, there weren't many people doing them, so they was pretty good quality. Now, 11 years on, there's some very dubious ones out there on the market, which are basically everyone's in on it now, trying to make money out of the equipment by undercutting everybody else. So it's a different market now. Quality ones are out there. I use quality ones now, and you've probably seen that in my other video. So I wanted to find a business where I could learn how to do something and also exploit different niches. Now these are two totally different skills. Learning the equipment, I made mistakes. Obviously I bought the wrong equipment, and I do cover this in my training DVDs for the mug and the t-shirt printing DVDs. So my first bit of kit, as I said to you, was my mug printing setup. We operated that, and I'd done that for about 6 to 8 months, I suppose. And again, I remember learning, my main thing was to learn how to use the equipment, how to get things going correctly so that every mug was the same quality and it would be a sellable item, basically. That took a while for me to learn that, you see, by making trial and error mistakes, knowing what software to use, knowing the best printer to get, and knowing the right inks to get and all that, and knowing the right times and all that, and all the variables which I try to cut out in my training DVD by using the equipment which I basically use now. All the information's in there. So basically, I personally shortcut everybody's learning curve in my training DVD. And we sold, I remember producing our first quality mugs, and then being the person I am, bearing in mind I've done internet marketing, I thought that I would find subjects which I could have designs or make designs created, because I'm not, you know, I didn't know how to operate Photoshop or any sort of photo editing software sort of thing. So, and I knew that the images that I got had to be a specific quality for the mugs, and then how to size them and transfer them, or maybe alter them and manipulate them in software. So I had a little learning curve which I had to do. I had to learn how to use Photoshop. But right at the very beginning, I didn't know how to use Photoshop, but there are websites out there which you can go to get people to create images for you. So learning how to use and manipulate a photo editing piece of software or getting images created is another learning curve, which is I also cover on the DVD. Learning how to find niches to exploit or to go into. I don't cover that on the DVD because that's more marketing, internet marketing, and I actually cover that in my UK Internet Marketing School membership website, which is £25 a year. Nothing for a year. The equivalent for other UK internet marketers or even global internet marketers is far, far in excess of £25 a year. Believe me, I've been a member of all these groups and clubs, and I've gone through all these internet workshops and stuff like that where you have to pay hundreds of pounds to listen to so-called experts or perceived experts tell you how to do it. And they do promise one-to-one training as well, in which they then want thousands of pounds off of you for you to sort of hold their hand and build a business. They don't hold your hand and build a business. They don't give you a business in the box as they used to tell you. What they do is basically show you what they know or what the basic laws of internet marketing are, and then they leave you to it, and then you've got to go and do it yourself and repeat the formula, so to speak. So the learning curve for how I find niches, I use eBay to find niches, and I use other signals to find niches, whether it be things I see on TV, maybe something in a shop, for example, where you can find rows and rows of magazines. Now if you find rows and rows of magazines in a shop, they are literally all niches, whether it be building magazines, whether it be train, aeroplane, car, motorcycle, all these different genres are niches, and within them niches you've got sub niches. So let's say, for example, in the car niche, for example, cars is a niche, and then you've got the niche of every different make and model of car, where they've all got their own enthusiasts, fans, followers, websites, forums, and anywhere where you've got them sort of following, you're going to have people who possibly may buy a product when they go to eBay for sitting down drinking their tea. Or take that one step further, you can have t-shirts, as I say, you can have different engraved items now, you can have tiles, you can have pictures, you can have canvas prints, all stuff like that, all stuff which I've been involved in. And it all starts off with basically one step at a time, building up and learning to use the equipment, learning what to use, the right equipment to buy, and also how to find your niches and put the product together. And also, when you put the product together, how to advertise the product. We use predominantly eBay. I recommend eBay as a beginner, as opposed to building a website. I see so many people say, yeah, I want to build a website, sell all my products on a website. Well, that's okay, but that brings in another set of problems in how to market a website and like to get it seen. From a standing start as a beginner, you're putting yourself under too much pressure by trying to build a website, put all your products on there, and then trying to get your website seen. Too much pressure. eBay's the place you want to start off with, and that because they've got a ready-made audience of people there going there typing in the keywords which you're going to be putting in your titles for your mugs. You've got to be careful with certain things, because a lot of companies out there through eBay's Vero system is a way of checking copyrighted or counterfeit material. So if you use the words, for example, Apple iPhone mug, there's a very good chance that eBay software will pick that up, and then they will be seeing that you were using their branded or copyrighted name, Apple iPhone, as a way to sell not counterfeit equipment, but your own equipment, and you could get eBay strikes doing it that way. So you've got to be careful. That again is another learning curve. But initially, first of all, one step at a time. When you're going to start a little business, one step at a time. Choose what you want to do. And the reason why I chose mug printing and t-shirt printing was that they were both things that were learnable skills, what I could operate from home as a small business, and I could exploit many, many different niches. In other words, don't keep all your eggs in one basket, where I can go into all these different niches and have all these different opportunities of creating products to target each different niche. And that's the beauty why I chose the t-shirt and mug printing business. Now, initially, when I first started them, I thought that I would only have them for maybe 1 to 2 years, them businesses. And I remember when I first started off, I produced my first mug, I advertised my first batch of mugs on eBay. What I used to do back then was, once I'd found out to create the image to go on the YouTube, the eBay advert, and I found an easy way of doing that, and then advertising without actually creating the mugs. All you do is you create a graphic in Photoshop, for example, or you get someone to create them graphics for you. They're pretty simple to do. And once I found out the formula for getting multiple ads, I used to upload 3 or 4 a week at first, and then before you know it, I had sort of hundreds of mugs over the period of a 6-month period on eBay. Then you started to get mugs sold every day. But initially, when I first sold my first mug, I was so happy. Then we went through a whole different set of learning curve, where to get boxes from, how to package the mugs up, what's the best way to send them off. I have a lot of people say to me, "Oh, how much is it to send one mug away?" Well, I didn't bother with that. All you do is you buy a job lot of boxes, 100 boxes or whatever, or if you're lucky, the supply of the boxes, the ceramic mugs, for example, they come in boxes, and all we do, we found that wrapping the box in bubble wrap was a good enough thing to send them all over the world. You do get the odd smash, but that was with mugs anyway. And then we sold one, and then maybe a week later, I don't think we sold another one for another couple of days, or 3 or 4 days time. I can't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. And then, as I say, once I'd done that, I thought, well, this is good. I can pigeonhole all these niches with all these different mugs, and I was starting selling them. And I thought, then I started looking into the t-shirt printing from home. And again, there's many different ways to do that. I wanted to be able to put images on t-shirts at home using certain equipment, and to be able to go in, again, like with the mugs, all different niches. So again, same thing, went into forums, come across the same barriers, everyone arguing what the best gear was and stuff like that. Anyway, cut a long story short with that, here we are, 11 years later, and we still do it. Sharon does it all now. As I say, I used to do it all in the beginning, because I've moved on to other things. I do tutorials now, and we also went into canvas printing as well, which again, I come in as a cold person. I went out and spent £3,500, I think it was, on an Epsom. Was it a 988 printer, I think I had? It was a wide format, big printer sort of thing. And we went into the canvas printing business as well. And I started off, I think it was in an October to December. And then we was coming in from cold, but again going on eBay, not bothering with a website. Although I did have a website, I set a website up. But that was going in cold into this business, learning how to do them, stretch the canvases over the frame, build the frames, and all that, and then different packaging material. But before we knew it, we had so much equipment in our house, and that was in our living room. Although we got a pretty big living room in our house, we had this great big wide format printer in there, and we used to buy the canvases on rolls of, I don't know, 30 inches, 20, I can't remember what it was now. But as I say, we got so much local trade as well for that one from people on Facebook. That's when we started to realise that Facebook was a good place to sell without the need for paying advertising. But from November to the December, as I say, coming in from cold, I bought the gear in about October, November. By December, we was earning over £2,000 a month in that short period of time. But my plan was to give that over to Sharon as well. But she was bogged down doing the t-shirts and the mugs as well. And I thought, well, I can't really throw a canvas printing business at her as well while I'm doing all my video editing and stuff like that, and tutorial stuff and all that, because it was around that sort of time that the membership site. I got the membership site up and running. So we had basically all our extras in different baskets and stuff like that. As I say, and that was how I basically started off, and we started selling in different niches, and I just got into the habit of uploading images on t-shirts because I could create a t-shirt graphic once I'd been into a niche, or to find out, do a bit of research on eBay to find out what was selling and what different niches was out there. I would create a graphic of a blank t-shirt and just put that image on the t-shirt without even making the t-shirt, upload that as an advert on eBay, and I didn't even have to produce the t-shirt until one sold. When one sold, I'd create the graphic on either the printing equipment which we got here, or the cutter if it was a vinyl, and then we'd save it, and then we'd just put it in our file on the computer for printing off as and when we needed to do them, basically. And as I say, over the years, a lot more people have jumped on the bandwagon of how to start t-shirt businesses and all that. And I get asked all the time that there are other companies out there, companies like Teespring, where you don't have to produce a garment or a t-shirt. They'll give you a ready-made shop and stuff like that. And there's other companies as well, and all you've got to do is possibly upload a design or a phrase or whatever, and they basically do all the work. The trouble with that is that one, you don't own the business. It's not your business really. You're using their business. And two, the prices they charge are extortionate for the garments. We sell our garments between £9.99 and maybe £12, £13, £14.99, depending on what design we put on our t-shirts. For them, it's like £25, £30, or I don't know what it would be in dollars, for example, but it's far, far more than what the average person would spend on a t-shirt. There's also the other end of the spectrum where you go on eBay and you find lots of people selling t-shirts for silly little money, stuff you couldn't compete with. And a lot of people think it's about being the cheapest. Well, it's not about it being the cheapest. We've never varied from our prices from $9.99 to $14.99. We've always played within that bracket, although you can sell for a lot higher than that in certain niches, but that's another story. But you'll see people selling t-shirts on eBay for $7.99, $4.99 even down to $3.99, and you can't compete with that. But the idea is not to compete with that. Your angle is that you're coming into niches, different niches which they haven't possibly thought of, and then you're exploiting them niches by putting your little designs in there. And people don't necessarily go for the cheapest t-shirt, believe me. We've played about in the $9.99 and the $14.99 bracket for 11 years, and I've never veered away from that. I've never tried to compete with lower prices anyway, so I'd advise you to do the same as well. So yeah, all learnable skills. A lot of people say what the best equipment is, and do I cover that in my DVD? What my equipment is and what materials I use. Again, covered in the DVD. As far as the equipment is concerned, as you probably know, equipment does wear out, and as a result of that, I've upgraded over the years. And you may see different equipment which I was using in the tutorial DVDs to what I've actually got now. But you see all of my latest equipment which I'm using on my YouTube videos, like the ones you're watching now, for example. And also you've got the facility to be able to email me questions about what do you think is the best equipment at this moment in time whenever you actually contact me. As far as the transfer papers and the inks and whatever I use, that's all still the same. I still use the same stuff. And over the years, over longevity, I've got the videos on YouTube of the longevity of my t-shirt transfers which we use. And people keep asking me on YouTube what t-shirt transfers I use. Well, I've got to hold something back at the end of the day, and that's why I do hold back, and that is, as I say, covered in my actual training DVDs, because I do give out more information probably than anybody else on YouTube as to how to start and run and operate a business from home, like the t-shirt and mug printing business. Anyway, so whatever your reasons are for doing that, there's many different ways to get into the t-shirt business. This is the way I did it. I'm a one-man band. You've seen through my videos throughout the year, I'm a one-man band. I do work from home. This is my home, as you can probably see here. You've seen all the videos of what we do. I've shown you the equipment I've used. I've also shown the longevity of the actual materials I use. And although I don't put the suppliers down in my training DVDs, because over the years I've changed suppliers, although I'm still using the same core, like things like the transfer papers, But things like where I get my mugs from, for example, things where I get my vinyls from, that may change over the years. Where we get our packaging equipment from, that could change over the years. All stuff like that. So don't think that because that information isn't in the DVD, that's the reason why I offer email support, where you can actually contact me and speak to me via email, and I'll give you the most up-to-date information when you need it, and that is when you need it. Anyway, I hope this was a bit interesting for you. It's not an actual t-shirt or mug printing tutorial, but this is how I got into business, how I started up, and how 11 years later we're still doing the same thing as what we've been doing at the beginning. And don't forget, at the beginning, if you don't do the right things, it's very easy to listen to the wrong people, or people who are doing things. Mate, you've got to decide, for when you go to forums, if you've done that route and you've gone to forums, you've got to decide whether or not these people are telling you their personal experience, or are they just someone who sits on a computer and feeds you information because it's what the general populace are saying as well. This is what I do personally. Not anyone else in the forum. This is what I do personally, and this is what I've done for the last 11 years. Check out all my other videos and you'll see a progression over the years of what I do, and I'm still saying the same things and still doing the same things. It's not my formula. This formula works. That's why I adopted it all them years ago, and I just put it in the mug printing business and into a t-shirt printing business because I wanted to work from home and I wanted to be self-sufficient and learn something, which I did, and I'm now a perceived expert in this field after 11 years. It's a stepping stone game, and I took one step at a time, headed in the right direction, knowing that I could exploit loads and loads of different niches by using learnable skills, and that's hopefully what I will show you in my training DVDs. Hope that was of use to you, and I'll see you again in the next tutorial pretty soon. Bye for now.